Genesis 9:12. And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come." 9:13. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. The mind. The mind, I like to think of the mind as the fumes from the diffuser. It provides the aroma or details into what's hidden inside our mind. Our control center maneuvers our actions, the steering wheel of our members, the conductor of our tongue, sending a sweet symphony of life or a thunderous roar of destruction. When we take a snapshot of the land, we see a poetic landscape that's growing more and more desolate by the second. The mind, or the seat of man and women, the core, our essence, has been given over to the enemy of our souls. Now men and women flaunt the word pride. My acronym for pride is P, people, R, running, I, into, D, destruction, E, eternally. Pride, people, running, into, destruction, eternally. We all know pride comes before the fall. Men and women are falling for lies and deception. Minds are at stake, but most importantly, souls are on the line. To spend eternity in the fire of hell, the US of A celebrates death and destruction, camouflaged all in the name of love. The heart.
God turns people over who reject him through their sinful desires, and they reap the retribution of choosing to live a life of sin and sinful pleasure. And God judges sin in part by allowing sin to run its course, because sin gives birth to death. It is the resulting sin of darkness that often opens our hearts to God's light. Therefore, we see that it is both grace and mercy in the judgment of God. God will allow sin to run its course in our lives. It will allow destruction to come in that darkness, whether it is anxiety, depression, or whatever led you to that cross. In that deep darkness, oftentimes we're led to the light of God. So God is basically saying, you don't want me, and you want to serve these idols and worship ungodly things? Here you go. And in that darkness, oftentimes we end up seeking the Lord. God says, since you want all these unholy, clean, dark things, have at it. God will turn you over to the life that you chose, resulting in destruction. Romans 1:26 through 27. For this reason, God gave them over to the degrading passion. For their women exchanged the natural function for that which is unnatural. And in the same way, also the man abandoned the natural function of the woman and burned in their desires toward one another, men with men committing indecent acts and receiving in their own person the due penalty of their error. Meaning, men and women are natural. Man and man are not natural. Woman and woman are not natural. Humankind could not exist if man were with man and woman were with woman. The world would not go on if we were all to live this way. So these people, God gave them to their vile passions, and men exchanged women for man and women for women. The natural use for a man is a woman, and for a woman is a man to be together. But since they want to choose vile passions, God gave them over. He gave them up to sexual immorality. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and exchanged natural sexuality for unnatural sexuality. Know this, that humans are the only species that engage in homosexuality. Homosexuality does not exist in the animal kingdom. It is a vile passion for humans, and God turns people over to that vile passion. Romans 1:28 to 32. And just as they did not see fit to acknowledge God any longer, God gave them over to a deprived mind, to do those things which are not proper, being filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossip, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to the parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful. And although they know the ordinance of God, that these who practice such things are worthy of death, they not only do the same, but also they give hearty approval of these things who practice them. So God gave them over to a debased mind. You go out and you see all these people doing these things that are listed, right? And they don't feel bad or convicted about it. God has turned them over to their vile ways or debated mind. They practice these things, and the Bible said the ones that practice these things are deserving of death, spiritual death, eternity separated from God type death. Also, the ones who approve of these are guilty of this as well. And the way out, the murder, strife, envy, homosexuality, etc. All these things are bringing about spiritual death, and they are a reprobated mind. And if that's you, you need to pray, Lord, cleanse me. I want to be washed by your blood. Make me a new creation. Do away with the old me, because I am numb to what you are saying and what you are doing to me.
Whose rainbow is it, bro?
It's God's rainbow.